My name is Mr. D, representing for Express TV, Chess Media, and Glado. And right here, we're here for the Spirit of Ubuntu screening. And I have some very amazing people, the people who are behind this wonderful documentary. One of them is a very familiar face, my good friend. And the other one will introduce himself and tell us what his role was in this documentary. Let's start with you, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Kindly tell us your name and tell us your role in the documentary.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is KUDZAI. I'm the film director of the documentary The Spirit of Ubuntu. I'm based in Zimbabwe. As of the documentary, it's an idea that came to our executive producer's mind to say the world is being hammered and is facing a lot of problems, and there's a philosophy that is found in Africa that could be the solution to all the problems that the world is facing, which is the philosophy of Ubuntu. And the executive producer, having had this in his mind, he then reached out to our producer, who was part of BANTON, who reached out to me, and then we ventured on a mission to Africa, filming in 10 different countries in Africa. This philosophy to explore what Ubuntu means in Uganda, Ubuntu means in Burundi, Ubuntu means in Zimbabwe, and the results are phenomenal, as you will see in the video.
Okay, so PATO BANTON, when the producer reached out to you, did you understand the meaning of Ubuntu? Did you have to research, or what happened?
Well, when the executive director, his name is Gar Jameson, he's a professor in Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. He was inspired when he went to South Africa and met Desmond Tutu and Nelson Mandela. When he approached me, he said that he had learned about this word called Ubuntu, and he wanted me to go to 10 countries and work with an award-winning director from Zimbabwe, KUDZAI Tenago, and he asked me to reach out to KUDZAI. So the first thing I did when he told me about Ubuntu, he told me that it meant I am because we are. So I went and did some research and learned as much as I could learn. Then I approached KUDZAI, and KUDZAI got his assistant, Ansa Sofa, to help with the technical side of things. I brought my wife, Antoinette Rootsdata, who did all the interviews for us. And it was an amazing journey to film this documentary. You know, me and KUDZAI, and we was a family, you know, all four of us traveling across Africa to 10 different countries. It was a great experience, a learning experience. Everywhere we went, we learned something. We got to see the highs and the lows of Africa. And, you know, I feel very good about this documentary. We've already won 11 awards. We have 4 more for the movie scoring as well, which Antoinette also did the movie scoring. And we're still waiting to hear from another 15 film festivals. So the documentary is already a huge success, and our mission right now is to just come back and show it in the 10 countries that we filmed it.
Okay, so when was this documentary launched, and how many countries have you already screened?
Well, it hasn't been released to the public yet, but it was launched in the second week of January. The first screening was in Los Angeles, second screening was in Las Vegas, and so far we've been to South Africa, Cape Town and Port Elizabeth, Zimbabwe, Burundi and Rwanda.
And now you're in Kenya.
And now we're in Kenya!
All right.
Some other question from this side.
Yes.
So someone is watching you and maybe they're just seeing the Spirit of Ubuntu. From the band, I'm able to see like the documentary has been able to win actually some awards.
Yes.
That is,
11 awards.
Awards, right?
Yeah.
So maybe what makes you stand out from the other?
I think what's causing us to win so many awards is our director, KUDZAI Tenago. The way he filmed the documentary was amazing. Not only did he film the documentary in a very high quality, professional, visionary way, he also then got an amazing narrator from South Africa to narrate over some of the beautiful aspects and places and views of Africa. So not only is this documentary about Ubuntu and about how people deliver Ubuntu in their practical daily life, it also shows the beauty of Africa in each country that we go to. And for me, coming from the West back to Africa, this is very important, because in the West, they only show us the poverty of Africa. They only show us the ugly side of Africa. And even when I was growing up, all I knew was Tarzan. And everyone in Africa was just Bushmen, you know? So now the world is going to get a chance to see the beauty of Africa and the progressiveness of Africa.
Maybe another question is, my research shows that you are a Jamaican, but you're UK based, right?
Yes.
So maybe, would you mind telling us about how did that one happen?
Well, my parents emigrated to England before I was born. I was born in London with my Jamaican roots, and my father was a Jamaican DJ, and our house was the party house for the Caribbean community in England, and I was the security guard for the party when I was 8, and I grew up with the sound system. So when I was 15, I started chatting on the mic, and then I ended up going to Jamaica to perform at DJ Roll Call, Reggae Sunsplash, Sunfest, you know, and then launched my own career. So right now I call myself an English Jamaican African American.
Would we say that that was the actual inspiration of the Go PATO hit song that you made?
The Go PATO hit song I made was actually inspired in America, by touring America, and every time I would go on stage and start dancing, the crowd would say, "Go PATO, go PATO." And so my manager said, "You must make a song for your fans." So I made the Go PATO song, and it became a big hit all over the world.
Interesting. One more last question maybe from this side is, I've seen the calendar of events that you're going to do in Africa.
Yes.
You have like 10 countries. Like
Yes.
You started with South Africa. You went to Zimbabwe, right?
Yes.
Rwanda, and now you are in Kenya. Next you'll be in Nigeria, right?
Yes.
So, what are you trying? Which message are you trying to send to Africa? I mean, with this documentary. What's the inspiration?
What has already been happening? We've been filming everybody after the documentary, after we showed them the documentary. And what has been happening is that people have been coming to us and saying, "I feel inspired. I know about Ubuntu, but I'm not doing Ubuntu." And after watching the documentary, they say they want to do more for Africa. So we have not come to teach Africa about Ubuntu, but we do want to remind Africans that they have Ubuntu and that Ubuntu is a beautiful thing. And we want them to see how progressive Africa is.
Okay, being a director of an award-winning documentary that has already scooped like 11 awards, how do you feel?
Well, I feel like I owe it to my team. This was not my magical hand, it was the work of the team, and teamwork has made this happen. I feel great. I feel like we can do more to tell more stories about Africa and our philosophies in Africa, that they are really the solution to some of the world problems that we have now.
Was this the first film that you've done and it has been this successful?
I've done a couple of films before, but this one has been the most successful because it's hitting every media house, it's hitting every film festival, and we're getting numerous awards. This is the biggest that I've done so far.
Okay, and from where we stand, how can you say the film industry of Africa is it growing? Is it stagnant? How can you say? What can you say about the film industry of Africa?
There's no way we can ignore the film muscles that are being lifted in Africa right now. Africa is on the rise. 2026, it will be a different story. Young people are doing media. Look at yourself. Look at the people behind the cameras. All people are so energetic to lift the media banner in Africa. So it's on the rise, and with the right tools, with the right techniques, with the right knowledge, we are going to make it up there.
Okay, thank you so much for creating time to talk to us. We have a question from the crowd.
Without a doubt, we are going to film a lot of documentaries about Africa, including Kenya.
Here is one of our stars in the documentary too. Come over here. How are you doing, my sister?
Hey, welcome.
So can you just
Hey,
tell him your name?
My name is Dorcas Karanja.
Dr. Karanja, and you are a star in the spirit of
Yes,
Ubuntu.
she
Star?
is.
Yeah, she's a
Big
part of
star.
BANTON, I'll say that.
Oh, wow.
You are a star in the spirit of Ubuntu.
Yes.
So what was the experience in the filming?
She hasn't seen the film yet.
You've not seen the film yet?
I'm seeing it today.
And how was the experience, the shooting and stuff?
It was really good because we did it with a lot of children, and I could just see the spirit of Ubuntu even in them. So I think it's natural to us. Yeah, so it was really good.
And before you came, I was asking Mr. Director here the tremendous works that the film industry of Africa is doing, and how he can see what he's seeing African film industry in the several years to come. What can you say about the film industry of Africa?
That's a very good question. I think that we have the biggest potential right now. We have a lot of talent, as evidenced on social media, right?
Yes.
There's a lot of creativity. And so I think we need to develop systems that support the new rather than the old, right? So that we can get more and more of these people to be mainstreamed. But yeah, there's a lot of hope for Africa.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. There's a question from the...
We have 1 minute.